Hi, I'm Vijayarani Merikonda, and this is phase 5 of my project Stack Overflow analysis using Hadoop. And firstly, I have taken the data from Stack Exchange, which is a question and answer portal, which covering about 142 different topics. And the one that I'm actually using is Stack Overflow, which covers computer science related questions. So this data is made available at archive.org, and it comes as 7 different files. And these 7 different files contains information about the posts and users, and they also have links. When I say post, it contains information like the creation date, the kind of post, is it a question, answer, or a comment, and link to a particular post, and number of answers it received, the number of votes it has received, a particular answer has received, and when coming to the users, the place from which the user belongs to, and his rank or his badge. All this information is covered in the 7 files, and these files are in XML format. And I had to first import this XML format data into HDFS. I could either use a MapReduce program for it, or I could also had an option with Epic. Pig is coming with XML loader, and this XML loader, once you start use it, and once you use it and load the file and use the XML loader, you can convert this data by writing an XPath for your XML. And that's what I've done. And the code on the screen shows you the operation that I've performed. This gives the result as a comma separated file. Now on this comma separated file, I've run the MapReduce program. And the first query I wanted to get was to get the number of users by country. And the output of it is what you're seeing on the screen after running this query. This is the reducer, driver, and mapper program. Coming to the logic behind it, it's exactly same as a word count, because the program goes over the file and sees the number of times a particular word or the country name is repeated in the file, and it keep count of that. So as you see, it's an exact replication of the word count, but the results are shown here, sorted in a ascending order or alphabetical order. And that's how I got the results according where the distribution of the users where the country is plotted. Now the challenges I had was in the initial phase about the data, because it's the first time that I'm using HDFS with such a huge data. I first uploaded all my 7 files into HDFS, and because of that, the whole HDFS was jammed and I couldn't perform any of the actions. The name node was in safe mode, and it was not ready to come out. Even if when I take administrative privileges and switch it off, it was immediately switching back into safe mode. So I really had good time spent running around trying to pull this name node out of safe mode and trying to delete all the files. And that's how I learned my biggest lesson, that when you're dealing with big data, you're never letting data sit there without any practical purpose. And you are taking the data only when you need it and process it, and then you get it out of your way, because it adds a lot of overhead onto your system. And working with big had gave me some issues, because it's the first time that I'm working big scripts. I had to understand certain syntax of it, and also the earlier big versions did not have XML loader shipped with it, so which I did not know, and because of that, it took a time for me to deal with the errors, and eventually I had to upgrade it to the latest version and then do it. And if you're not familiar with writing XPath to XMLs, that again would take some time. But the lessons that I've learned is, once you get through these basic things, or once you get a first-hand experience and know how these work, getting the data or importing the data into HDF is not that difficult, except for the space issue. And another lesson that I've learned is about the program. When you're working with big data, simple queries or simple examples like word count can give you a great insight about the uh, data that you have. Like for example, here getting the user distribution of Stack Overflow. So yeah, I could get an inference of such big by just running a simple program. Now coming to Hive, running Hive was very easy. It was about it. Hive SQL is very similar to SQL that we regularly use. So once I have the CSV file, I built an external table and then try to fetch the top 25 topics using running the query, and the results of it is like that. I've used a pie chart just for a change, and I've plotted the distribution of top 25 topics on Stack Overflow. if this is also can be seen as a trending topics on SO. The limitations, I think these two limitations should be said about the previous versions of SQL, because the present current versions of SQLs are supporting many of the data types or have incorporated many of the features of regular SQL. So these two limitations are quite to the Cloudera version that I'm using. Yes. Spark, the question that I've answered with Spark is the number of posts by year, and that starts from 2009 and till 2016. Spark comes. I've used PySpark, which is using Python code, and I have this is the RDD that I've written. That is, I've used Lambda functions to upload the file, take the file that I have, and use the RDD to convert it into CSV, then load it, save it into my desktop. So once I have that, I have run the Python code to read the date and also get the number of count of the number of posts by it. So once I've done it, I've written the file again, that is the dictionary data, the result into a file, and I've beautified it according to the way I want, and the result of it is what you see on the right hand. The challenges I had is once, while also the running of the program, I had no problems. But when I wanted to actually plug this data, I wanted to install Python libraries like Boca and Pandas, but that was not being allowed in PySpark. Maybe it's limitation of guide, not my own knowledge, but I'm still not able to download these Python libraries and work with them. So I had actually looked out for the new tools like Tableau and graphics, but at one point I was like trying to learn so many new things and along the project and trying different tools at all through the while, and it um it really takes patience and time to keep trying new tools when you're and when they fail you get exhausted. So I can also say that, yeah, it trying new tools and trying to learn new stuff to get things done also takes time and patience. So then finally I went and made use of Excel. This is one time I've been profoundly influenced by what it is like, the power of simplicity. Because even when I've seen all through the while, even though the input that we feed to big data is huge, the output of it is not really all the times that big. For example, if I get the top 25 trending topics, the output is always less than 100 columns or 100 rows. I'm sorry. If you're getting the distribution by country, again, it's less than 200 rows. If I'm trying to get the number of posts by year, it's again less than 10,000 rows. So when as long as your output from big data is not really beyond the capacity of Excel can really handle all this well. Or at least for my project, it really did a good job because I could get all my graphs plotted using Excel. So yeah, one of the lessons I've learned here is never to ignore any simple tool and see how you can leverage the tools that you have to get the things that you want for the big data. So, and these are all things. This is all my project. Thank you for listening.